The history of Lebanon covers the history of the modern Republic of Lebanon and the earlier emergence of Greater Lebanon under the French mandate for Syria and Lebanon, as well as the previous history of the region, covered by the modern state. Prehistory. Crusader killed 10 kilometers northeast of Beirut as a large rock shelter below a steep limestone cliff where excavations have shown occupational deposits, reaching down to a depth of 23.6 meters with one of the longest sequences of Paleolithic flint industries ever found in the Middle East. The first level of 8 meters contained Upper Levalloiso-Mousterian remains with long and triangular lithic flakes. The level above this showed industries accounting for all 6 stages of the Upper Paleolithic. An emery point was found at the first stage of this level, at around 15.2 meters below datum, with a complete skeleton of an 8-year-old Homo sapiens was discovered at 11.6 meters, cemented into breccia. A fragment of a Neanderthal maxilla was also discovered in material from level 26 or 25, at around 15 meters. Studies by Holly showed Capra and Dama were dominant in the fauna along with Stephanorinus in later Levalloiso-Mousterian levels. It is believed to be one of the earliest known sites containing Upper Paleolithic technologies. Artifacts recovered from the site include Crusader kill flakes, the main type of tool found at the site, along with shells with holes and chipped edge modifications that are suggested to have been used as pendants or beads. These indicate that the inhabitants were among the first in Western Eurasia to use personal ornaments. Results from radiocarbon dating indicate that the early humans may have lived at the site approximately 45,000 years ago or earlier. The presence of personal ornaments at Crusader kill is suggestive of modern human behavior. The findings of ornaments at the site are contemporaneous with ornaments found at late Stone Age sites such as Enkarpun Yarmuto. Ancient Near East. The earliest prehistoric cultures of Lebanon, such as the Karathun culture, gave rise to the civilization of the Canaanite period, when the region was populated by ancient peoples, cultivating land and living in sophisticated societies during the 2nd millennium BC. Northern Canaanites are mentioned in the Bible as well as in other Semitic records from that period. Canaanites were the creators of the oldest known 24-letter alphabet, a shortening of earlier 30-letter alphabets such as Proto-Sinaitic and Ugaritic. The Canaanite alphabet later developed into the Phoenician one, influencing the entire Mediterranean region. The coastal plain of Lebanon is the historic home of a string of coastal trading cities of Semitic culture, which the Greeks termed Phoenicia, whose maritime culture flourished for more than 1,000 years. Ancient ruins in Byblos, Berytus, Sidon, Sarepta, and Tyre show a civilized nation, with urban centers and sophisticated arts. Phoenicia was a cosmopolitan center for many nations and cultures. Its people roamed the Mediterranean seas, skilled in trade and in art, and founded trading colonies. The ancient Phoenicians set sail and colonized overseas. Their most famous colonies were Cadiz in today's Spain and Carthage in today's Tunisia. Phoenicia maintained an uneasy tributary relationship with the Neo-Assyrian and Neo-Babylonian empires during the 9th to 6th centuries BC. Classical antiquity. After the gradual decline of the strength, the Phoenician city-states on the Lebanese coast were conquered outright in 539 BCE by Achaemenid Persia under Cyrus the Great, who organized it as a satrapy. The Persians forced some of the population to migrate to Carthage, which remained a powerful nation until the Second Punic War. After 2 centuries of Persian rule, the Macedonian ruler Alexander the Great, during his war against Persia, attacked and burned Tyre, the most prominent Phoenician city. He conquered what is now Lebanon and other nearby regions in 332 BCE. After Alexander's death, the region was absorbed into the Seleucid Empire. Christianity was introduced to the coastal plain of Lebanon from neighboring Galilee already in the 1st century. The region, as with the rest of Syria and much of Anatolia, became a major center of Christianity. In the 4th century it was incorporated into the Christian Byzantine Empire. Mount Lebanon and its coastal plain became part of the Diocese of the East, divided to provinces of Phoenice Paralia and Phoenice Libanensis. During the late 4th and early 5th century, a hermit named Maron established a monastic tradition, focused on the importance of monotheism and asceticism, near the mountain range of Mount Lebanon. The monks who followed Maron spread his teachings among the native Lebanese Christians and remaining pagans in the mountains and coast of Lebanon. These Lebanese Christians came to be known as Maronites, and moved into the mountains to avoid religious persecution by Roman authorities. During the frequent Roman-Persian wars that lasted for many centuries, the Sassanid Persians occupied what is now Lebanon from 619 to 629. Middle Ages. Arab rule. During the 7th century AD, the Muslim Arabs conquered Syria soon after the death of Muhammad, establishing a new regime to replace the Romans. Though Islam and the Arabic language were officially dominant under this new regime, the general populace still took time to convert from Christianity and the Syriac language. In particular, the Maronite community clung to its faith and managed to maintain a large degree of autonomy despite the succession of rulers over Syria. Muslim influence increased greatly in the 7th century, when the Umayyad capital was established at nearby Damascus. During the 11th century, the Druze faith emerged from a branch of Islam. The new faith gained followers in the southern portion of Lebanon. The Maronites and the Druze divided Lebanon until the modern era. The major cities on the coast, Acre, Beirut, and others, were directly administered by Muslim caliphs. As a result, the people became increasingly absorbed by Arabic culture. Crusader kingdoms. Following the fall of Roman, Christian Anatolia to the Muslim Turks, the Romans put out a call to the Pope in Rome for assistance in the 11th century. The result was a series of wars known as the Crusades, launched by Latin Christians in Western Europe to reclaim the former Roman territories in the Eastern Mediterranean, especially Syria and Palestine. Lebanon was in the main path of the First Crusade's advance on Jerusalem. Frankish nobles occupied areas within present-day Lebanon as part of the southeastern Crusader states. The southern half of present-day Lebanon formed the northern march of the Kingdom of Jerusalem. The northern half was the heartland of the county of Tripoli. Although Saladin eliminated Christian control of the Holy Land around 1190, the Crusader states in Lebanon and Syria were better defended. One of the most lasting effects of the Crusades in this region was the contact between the Crusaders and the Maronites. Unlike most other Christian communities in the region, who swore allegiance to Constantinople or other local patriarchs, the Maronites proclaimed allegiance to the Pope in Rome. As such, the Franks saw them as Roman Catholic brethren. These initial contacts led to centuries of support for the Maronites from France and Italy. Even after the later fall of the Crusader states in the region, Mamluk rule, Muslim control of Lebanon was re-established in the late 13th century under the Mamluk sultans of Egypt. Lebanon was later contested between Muslim rulers until the Turkish Ottoman Empire solidified authority over the eastern Mediterranean. Ottoman control was uncontested during the early modern period, but the Lebanese coast became important for its contacts and trades with Venice and other Italian city-states. The mountainous territory of Mount Lebanon has long been a shelter for minority and persecuted groups, including its historic Maronite Christian majority and Druze communities. It was an autonomous region of the Ottoman Empire. Ottoman rule. Starting from the 13th century, the Ottoman Turks formed an empire which came to encompass the Balkans, Middle East and North Africa. The Ottoman Sultan Selim I, after defeating the Persians, conquered the Mamluks. His troops, invading Syria, destroyed Mamluk resistance in 1516 at Majdabak, north of Aleppo. During the conflict between the Mamluks and the Ottomans, the emirs of Lebanon linked the fate to that of Ghazali, governor of Damascus. He won the confidence of the Ottomans by fighting on the side of Majdabak and, apparently pleased with the behavior of the Lebanese emirs, introduced them to Salamai when he entered Damascus. Salamai, whose treasury was depleted by the wars, decided to grant the Lebanese emirs a semi-autonomous status in exchange for their acting as tax farmers. The Ottomans, through the two main feudal families, the Mans who were Druze and the Chefabs who were Sunni Muslim Arab converts to Maronite Christianity, ruled Lebanon until the middle of the 19th century. During Ottoman rule, the term Syria was used to designate the approximate area including present-day Lebanon, Syria, Jordan, and Israel, Palestine. The Mans came to Lebanon from Yemen sometime in the 11th or 12th centuries. They were a tribe and dynasty of Qahtani Arabs who settled on the southwestern slopes of the Lebanon mountains and soon adopted the Druze religion. Their authority began to rise with Fakhr ad-Din I, who was permitted by Ottoman authorities to organize his own army, and reached its peak with Fakhr ad-Din II.